How would I do now? Just scooch closer. And I lost my remote to this thing. I have no idea where it went. But anyway, so the topic at hand for tonight, and my hair looks like a big hot mess, but what else is new? So, topic at hand tonight is going back to the fundamental 101 of the occult. And before I start, I would like to ask those who are watching, if any, how would you define the occult? In any way, shape, or form, what do you define occult? There's no right or wrong answer, just go with whatever you believe it to be. And I'm just blinding myself again. Ah, that made it worse. Anybody wants to take their own gander and define what the occult is, take a swing. It could even be something as simple as like, occult is, I believe that's like the study of making magical cupcakes to poison people. If you believe that's what it is, then just share your definition of it. No, we're not going to get tased tonight. No tasing. Well, just keep it wrong button. Keep it simple. Honey bear. There you go. Thank you. Milkshake. Stop it. Hey. Get that out of my mouth. So, anyway. Since I haven't seen anybody say anything, I will just go ahead and go with it and just say, pretty much, the occult is essentially a practice that involves causing a change or having something come about or doing or studying something that doesn't have really a 3D grounded or something of the earth that can be used to prove that because of one action this came about, if that makes sense. It's essentially influencing the 3D physical world with something that's not usually normally seen by the everyday man. But also the occult is also an art of the occult, the art of witchcraft. And with that in mind, I mean, there's so many little branches and little ways that you can actually define occultic, if that makes sense. That's your simple, like, example. Doing plant magic, and I mean, yeah. If you've seen this Hindsight a few days ago, yeah, it wasn't really that, wasn't that big, but I mean, good Lord Lanta. Yeah, this thing is exploding. And if you look in the water, there's actually a symbol in there. And this is actually an occult working that I'm doing. That's an example using a plant to help you grow an intention or a focus, using a rock, this is selenite, and actually using it to influence the world and or someone or something. Same thing with divination or oh, that dog doesn't keep barking. Or simply throwing cardstock to kind of see something that, everyday human person cannot see with their own two eyes and can't comprehend with their senses. Astrology is also another one, except astrology is actually using a system to do the same thing as divination by cardstock with like tarot and oracle. And there is also occult traditions like voodoo, Santeria. There's another one. There's also Taoist. There's as well, what is it called? Shinto. There's alchemy, and by alchemy, talking about more than just your lead to gold, mental alchemy, emotional alchemy, spiritual alchemy. There's There's just like so many aspects to it, and even as well, I'm thinking about it. In Japan, or like how when they teach martial arts, and actually using a weapon like the sai, for an example, they do something that's called a kata. And a kata is essentially a string of moves that actually shows that you're kind of combating like an invisible opponent. And when you're doing a kata, it's kind of the same thing as you actually doing like a magical working, if that makes sense. Because what you're doing is you're taking yourself out of this 3D mundane world to then be going at something that's not visible, if that makes sense. You're using your third eye when you're doing kata. As well, doing occult, that does also include working with heroic figures, divine figures, left-handed path, divine figures. I don't like saying demon because to me it's like kind of a, it just to me has a negative connotation attached to it, and I don't like that. It's also working with the Fae, elemental. I mean, there's just, the occult is so random and so unpredictable that literally anything can be considered occult. Literally, it's so random and so unpredictable that somebody can make a working happen just by simply having something like this and it's blowing incense smoke, and then they say an intent and close their eyes, and all of a sudden their desire just comes out of nowhere, and 2 seconds later. It's that unpredictable. But now with that in mind, here's the thing you have to remember. You have to know this. And by saying have to, you have to. Because the occult is very dangerous. Something as simple as doing a honey jar, and that's doing hoodoo style magic. Even simply making a sigil with chaos magic. Even praying to a divine figure. It's hazardous. It has risk. That's the cold, point blank truth. Everything in life has risk. Occult is no exception. Now, that being said, in occult, you are free to do as you'd like. You can do any kind of magical working as you'd like, and do whatever you deem fit to do and create the life that you want to live, and influence your life how you want. But with that in mind, no matter what you do, and no matter what comes afterwards, based on you doing any kind of magic or anything along that, no matter what you do, and whatever working you did, no matter the results, good, bad, dreadful, you are at fault. Always. Because the whole thing is you're influencing the 3D mundane world, and when you influence it, you don't know how it's going to react to it. You can try to like predict it and try and strategize to see what's most likely to happen, but at the end of the day, you're never going to know what's going to happen because occult is random. Think of it kind of like a slot machine, except most of the time you can. With occult though, sometimes you can kind of prepare yourself. For the slot machine, you press a button and then you just hope for the best. But still, occult, if you haven't really dug into it and really understand it and know how to protect yourself and know how to like go towards it, it could be like a slot machine of like, say you're going to a divine entity and for some reason a friend of yours said, oh yeah, well, this deity was easy to work with, and they give you this list of things to do or suggest them. So then you follow those exact same steps, same time of day, and the whatnot to that deity, and that deity just turns out to be completely disgusted with you. But with your friend, they were perfectly fine. That's how unpredictable it can be. So you have to make sure you're aware of what you're getting yourself into. I'm not saying you can't do it, because you can. You can do whatever you deem fit. But remember, whatever you're trying to do, no matter the results that come after you're attempted to influence reality, weird way of putting it, No matter what happens, you are at fault. Always. You're at fault. Because you influence the reality that everybody's in, and the result that came is what you got. So keep that in mind. And most definitely also keep in mind, I don't care if it's the most, imagine the most gifted occultist to ever walk the earth, even like Aleister Crowley. I don't even care if Aleister Crowley tells you to, you don't have to protect yourself, you never have to do that. Just do what you want to do and just start casting stuff. No. And you definitely always, I don't care how old they are, how long they practice, who they are, I don't care. I don't care how connected to whichever divine influence, left-handed divine influence, right-handed, I don't care. I don't even care at all if it's God himself. If they tell you you don't need to protect yourself, get away from them. Don't listen to that. Because the thing is, if you don't protect yourself, how do you know what you're going towards on the occultic side in practice? How do you know it's gonna not do anything to hurt you? How do you know that? Even like all the workings that I do, I don't know what's gonna happen. I can try my very best to focus and try and make sure and put in what I feel is gonna help the outcome go in the direction I want to. But I don't know if it's gonna come back on me and hit me. I don't know. That's just how random it is. So you always have to make sure you're putting your safety, well-being, mental health, emotional health, and putting yourself first over anything else. And you don't think that you have to go around just calling out to spirits, entities, and please, for goodness, Lord Lanta, don't think that you've been studying for only a few weeks, that you think it'd be a good time to actually summon one of the left-handed divines. And by left-handed, I'm talking about your goetic spirits, Satanus, Lucifer, those divines. Because the thing is, if you're not careful, and they can just see the gullible weakness, they will capitalize it, and they will rough you up. I'm not saying to scare you, that's just what they do. And they're not doing it out of just because you're the fresh punching bag, no. They're doing it because they want to toughen you up. But the thing is that the everyday man would be intimidated by that because they try to go in, and then they get a big iron boot to the tush, and they go out. And that's just the harsh reality about how it is. You cannot ever risk your well-being for nothing. Because if something happens to you, well, game over. It's over. And I have seen many people, and by many I mean quite a few, be talking about stuff that is extremely dangerous. That being said, hold on. I don't know what just happened, and I really hope this thing isn't messing up. Hold on. Hold on. Maybe that might. 30 years later, this thing's making me mad. But anyway. Did not expect it to go that way. You see, that's like how random occult is. I'm expecting it to go this way, but then it went that way. So, with that in mind again, you never know what's going to happen. And that's just being point blank. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to happen. And the last thing we want to have happen is something happen to you. And if something happens to you, well, that's just game over. But unless you protect yourself and understand how to properly ground and make yourself be secure and safe, if you don't know how to do that, you're walking clearly into a situation where you can be in deep doo-doo in hot water. And we do not want that. Now, that being said, a good place to start if you're wanting to actually learn of the occult, very simple. Write out the kinds of desires that you have first. Like, do you want to improve your living situation? Do you want to improve the amount of finances you're obtaining? Do you want to improve your pretty much your way of communication? Do you want to actually learn how to study better? Do you want to pretty much become more empowered in yourself? Are you trying to make love come towards you easier? Figure out what it is that you're wanting to learn. And also, even if you want to learn how to work with crystals, plants, and the whatnot, even they have risk. Everything has risk. Again, write out the desires that you want to accomplish, and once you have those pigeons lined up, like your list, not actual pigeons, once you have them all figured out, that's when you actually start looking them up. Like, it's the internet time, for goodness sakes. Because back in my day, there used to be a bookstore here where I live, but it's gone now. Lovely. And pretty much there isn't really much of a New Age, spirituality, occult section, other than like a small pile of books, but still. And I used to just read what I could, what was available, and I didn't buy anything. But even then, I wasn't really much of a reader because I was more hands-on. But when it comes to a good place to start, figure out again where you want to start. Do you want to learn how to work with crystals? Do you want to learn how to work with plants, like botany? Do you want to learn... Hold on. Sorry for that. So anyway, figure out what you want to learn first. And when you start reading on said subject, don't take in what you're reading as fact right off the bat. Just read to pretty much get a general feel and idea of what other people have experienced, and leave it at that. Don't take anything in and be like, well, this is fact because this person said this. No. No. Take it in as much as you can, then start filtering it. Being like, okay, this makes sense, I agree with this. This makes no sense to me, I don't agree with this. But when you're starting to read and starting to like weed out what you believe to be true and what to believe to be like a bunch of BS, actually that's when you start going towards whatever study thing you want to go towards, and actually start working with it and trying to get like a better feel for it. Like, for example, working with crystals and gemstones, there are some people that say selenite is a stone that is very good for cleansing. It's also pretty much a stone used to cleanse, and that's a common thing that's known as fact. Because if you put selenite in water, it's going to go disintegrate. But depending on how long you soak it can be different, but do not get it wet because it's not going to make it shimmer like so. So if I was going to be first working with, say, like selenite, or pretty much crystals, and had a selenite slab like so, I would probably want to get a good feel for it. And well, by not good feel, I mean not going like this and feeling it up, because if you do this with selenite, the shards can go like right in your hand, and we don't want that. It's just have the stone in hand, and I believe I have somewhere, yeah, right in there. the right heart. And this is pretty much tumbled and smooth, so I don't have to worry about it going like right in my hand. So if I was going to be getting a feel for a stone, and just hold on to it, and then just observe what's popping in my head. But actually really working with your said topic of investigation, like said subject, and then just start noting down what comes to you. But when you're working with some things that are like divination tools, because this is also another big one that I want to get into. Hold on, again. Sorry about that. I had something else I had to take care of. So back now. Scooch to the right. What was that? Something just tickled my foot. Don't do that again. But anyway, as I was saying, when you're gonna be invoking or evoking or actually going toward a divine entity or spirit, this is one of those things that a lot of people miss the mark with. I hate to put it this way. The thing is, whenever you're going towards an entity, you have to keep in mind for the first time and probably a few times, is this the entity that I'm really speaking to? And another thing while I'm thinking about it, if you're going towards a specific type of entity or spirit, for an example, if you're going towards an angelic, a demonic, or left-handed, I prefer to call them left-handed, are you going towards a divine? Are you going towards a fae? Are you going towards an elemental? Fae and elemental are different, keep that in mind. Or are you going towards a servitor? Are you creating a servitor? Are you going towards, God, that thing's so obnoxious. Are you going towards a specific thought form? What are you going towards? Because if you're going towards, or even going even a little bit darker, are you going towards a succubi, an incubi, or an intranquil spirit, a passed on animal spirit? What are you going towards? But the thing is, if you're going towards a specific kind of an entity and you do not protect yourself, specifically and especially entities that are aggressive, like your succubus, incubus, and really dangerous, the same kind like that, but also jinn, ifrits. And besides, an ifrit is a type of jinn that is actually like your red devil figure that's over fire. But when you're going towards a type of spirit or entity for the first time, or after the first and a few more, you always have to keep in mind that not every time that you first go towards them, that may not be them. And don't believe whatever they say. Like for an example, say if I was going towards Lilith, which is a very difficult divine to go towards for the first time. Usually she comes to you for the first time. And she lets you know, like, hey, I'm calling your name, kid. Don't ignore me, because if you do, well, okay, you're going to wish that you listened, because I'll be right in front of your face saying, come on, kid. But if I was going towards Lilith for the first time, if I go towards her, completely brand new, and if I just believe whatever sensation or thoughts or feelings or whatever comes towards me is her, one, that's putting me at risk because I don't know if that is her. Because there are lower level entities that like to disguise themselves as said figure. But specifically with Lilith, Lilith is one of those that has a lot of, I like to call it pretty much man-made constructs or man-made image, like a man-made servitors or man-made thought forms trying to be her. Because, like for an example, the stereotypical lustful, vulgar, just not. I can't even think about it like that. But that kind of Lilith is not really the real Lilith, if that makes sense. That's not her core. That's not her, like how she is most adamant about. She's not really intended to be a divine all about lust, all about vulgarity, all about just being I can't even say the word. That's not her intention. The intention is to start with her, excuse me. Her core is self-empowerment first. From self-empowerment, then you go to whichever you deem fit. I'm in charge of my life. I have full confidence in myself. I know what I want. I know what I want to do. And it's to do this. And I'm choosing to do this. I do as I please, and I'm doing this. I'm not relying on anything else except myself to decide what I want to do. Because now if you're taking it the other way around, where people are like, well, I need to be, getting involved, if you know what I mean, with other people to make me feel empowered. No. That sadly is what a lot of people believe it is. But no. If you believe being with other people and relying on other people for your own self-empowerment, reliance on anything, especially if you're going towards Lilith, she's going to be like, really? You really think that I'm going to be all about having to have someone else satisfy my wants and desires? No. I can do that myself. And it is true. Especially if you, in your astrology chart, if you see where Black Moon Lilith is, that's like where your self-empowerment lies in. But going back to actually studying, like if you're going towards something and you have no idea what it is for the first time, you can most definitely inform or make it known to whichever comes towards you first. Is this really the spirit, insert spirit's name here? Am I really speaking to whomever it is? And if whatever they say yes, then you can definitely say, prove it. If you're really who you say you are, prove it. Because I don't know that. How am I supposed to know you're a low level spirit or an imposter? How am I supposed to know that? I don't know that. And the real entity or real spirit will actually prove themselves. And actually it's better to even be on high alert like that because you have no idea what it is or who it is. And that's a very, very, very common mistake I've seen people do. They assume the first thing to respond when they're calling out to a spirit or entity is, that's them. No, it's not. Not all the time. It can be an imposter. It can make you think that's them, but in reality it's a low level that's not going to be deceiving you, feeding off of you, and seeing you as a source. We don't want that. And we don't want to have your time wasted on something petty. And another thing that I most strongly urge is make sure you actually listen to as many people as you can but also take a moment to take a step back and dissect what they're saying, because there have been a few that I've seen and heard, and I'm an occultist with 11 years experience within a lot of subjects. Some of the things they say and their word choice and what they speak about and how they speak about it is no. Some things that are said clearly aren't said the way they need to be said. And some people think using big fancy words makes them sound intelligent. No. If you know what you're talking about, you'll have confidence in it. If you don't, then you don't, and you should not be speaking about it. I hate to be point blank, but that's how it is. Because when I first started, back in 2010, I didn't really even start practicing and actually doing much of the magical stuff until 2017. It's 7 years of having my mouth shut and just reading and bringing in as much as I can, and then just weeding out what I went with and what I didn't agree with. And heck, the only time that I really did anything was actually just approach spirit, like some entities on the left, which were only 2. But even then, I was not really working on doing any kind of magical workings. I was more focused on like, okay, I know and I'm pretty prepared to have a good general idea of what I'm going to get myself into. And not go and try and be like Jackass Occultist Edition. Yeah, no. Because the thing is, again, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going towards something that's going to put me in a hot mess. And while on the topic of spirits and working with entities as such, if you're going to be working at all, you have to be able to understand how to cleanse, banish, exile, and ward, protect yourself, and making sure that an area is rid of whatever influence you brought in, or whichever, like after you're done doing working, you have to know how to cleanse that energy out and cleanse and allow it to flow out, because if you don't, it's going to sit there and have potential to be stagnant. You also need to know how to dismiss an entity too. Because if you don't, like say for an example, if you were to bring in an entity that is known to be aggressive, like for example, I'll go back again on the Lieutenant Divine side with, if you were to bring in Marquis Andres, Marquis, that's his title by the way. If you were to bring him in your space, Andres is known to be very hostile and very aggressive. If you do not dismiss him, and if you do not pretty much give him his okay to leave, and tell him that the ritual is over and you appreciate your time and he is free to leave whenever he deems fit within a reasonable time. If you don't do that, Andres is just going to sit there, and there is no telling if he'll just start going at other people in the surrounding area, may go after animals, may cause a big upset in the environment that he was summoned into or brought into. And that's just the cold hard truth, because you have no idea what he's going to do. You have no idea what's going to happen. That's giving it down to the most simplistic, friendly that I can, because this is something that has potential to be extremely dangerous if you do not know what you're doing. And when you're learning the occult of like other traditions and other practices like Santeria, Voodoo, Taoist, Shinto, even American Native magical practices, like with being a medicine man, you have to understand 100% that some of those cultures That's their belief system. And some of those belief systems you are required to be initiated in. I'm not initiated in any of those practices. So I cannot go any further than just say, if you're going to be going towards a handed down and cultural belief system and part of a culture's heritage, you have to abide by how they practice it. You have to. You can learn about it, most definitely. But if you really want to get into it, you must go towards someone who's initiated or well versed and well knowledgeable, and they have invested in that belief system and practice. Just going on willy-nilly into a practice that's traditional to a culture, picking up like it's a toy, no. Do not do that. I'm not saying that to prevent you from going towards it. I'm saying it because you're dipping into somebody's history, their culture, and what's pretty much practiced from their ancestors and has been handed down and down and down and down. And that is something you have to respect. And it's not a toy. It's not something that can be willy-nilly about. Don't do that. Because not only will you be slapping the people that practice it today in the face, but you're slapping the divine figures in the face, you're slapping the spirits in the face, and you're slapping the ancestors of that culture in the face, which is very despicable. Please don't do it. As well, one of the things that actually gets me pretty livid. Don't buy into stereotypical stuff about a certain type of magical practice like necromancy. Necromancy is one of the most misunderstood magical practices ever. Because by stereotype, people believe that necromancy is raising the dead, raising the spirits to do whatever you like, and controlling and commanding the dead to do as you please. No. In fact, that's probably one of the smallest things you go towards regarding necromancy. One of the smallest reasons why. The biggest one is to actually pay respect towards the passed on that allowed you to stand on your 2 feet on the ground. And they're holding you up. Because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be on the ground right now. Just putting it point blank. People that think, oh, I can just go to the cemetery and just go to somebody's site and just say, wake up, I need you to do something for me. Don't do that. Please do not do that. Because now take the tables and flip it. Now you're passed on and you're at rest, and then some inconsiderate twat comes in and says, hey, you wake up, I need you to do something for me. I don't care if you're at rest. Who are you, kid? Why am I going to do anything for you? See? And no. There's no really backdoor. No. Because if you're going to be forcefully commanding, I'm just saying, the whole spiritual side takes note of that. And they're aware of that. They notice it. If you mistreat any of the spirits, especially the ones that are used to be alive, like a regular human being, if you mistreat them, if something happens to you on the spiritual side, they're just not really going to really care. Because if you're going towards pass on her spirit and be inconsiderate and kind of rude and not even care what they have to say and be just completely like not even take into account what they think, what they feel, or even try to actually build something with them first to gain that trust, that the other side is not going to care if something tragic happens to you. They're not going to care. That's just the cold hard truth. And with that being said too, the occult and practicing occult, it's not like Final Fantasy. It's not at all, anyway, shape or form, like a role-playing game. Because I've heard some people even say that, well, someone tried to curse me by sending a divine after me, so my divine beat them up. No. 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 Occult practice is not like that. There is cursing, hexing, plaguing, and infecting, and pretty much doing magic to negatively affect something, yes. But this is not like having... This is not like Pokemon with spirits. No. It's absolutely not. And do you think that divines and entities have the time to play in, like... Do you think they have time to play a one-on-one fighting game in the spiritual world for you? They're kind of busy trying to improve you and try and better yourself. That's their intention. That's what they're really trying to do. However, though, there are instances where divinities and divines and spirits come in and they safeguard whoever they're close with, as an example. That being said, don't think that if something is coming towards you, and if you're divinating, just realize something is happening. Think at all. It's going to be like a divine battle, like a Pokemon battle. It's like, okay, I'll throw a Pokeball and I'll go Satanus, and then another Pokeball and there goes Archangel Raphael. No, it's not like that at all. And don't think like that. No. If anything, what it pretty much is you're combating your will against somebody else. If your will is stronger, you'll be able to pretty much overpower. But again, this is not something to play with. It's not a toy. It's not a game. It's ultimately trying to better yourself and your life first. And you do what you have to do for you. Nobody has to like it, but you have to be prepared what comes afterwards. Always. And again, no matter what happens, good, bad, dreadful. Oh, there's Lisa. I think you're like the only one that's actually... Yeah, you're the only one that said anything. Because, I mean, I've been talking for like the past 43 minutes to literally nobody. It looks like, but still. It's like, well, if nobody pops in, I'll just go elsewhere. But okay, we got the life of the party here. Oh, one of them. Oh god, no, don't do their bark again, Zeus. That's why I'm a cat person. But other than that, I think I pretty much said everything I was going to say anyway, so it's open. It's all good. Because right now what I'm going to do is pretty much just have open... I'm just going to have open floor right now, so if there is somebody here that's not that's not chitty-chatting to, like, if they want a reading or anything like that, or have questions, be it anything from, within practical reason, now's the time to ask. In the meantime, I'm going to be making this thing. And literally any realistic, practical kind of question that's occultic. It's a weird thing. What weird way of me putting it. But in other news, I finally have my first Tik-Tok up. Maybe you haven't noticed, but yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Pick a number between 1 and we'll go with 4. 1 and 4. And goddesses or demons. It's like you already know the drill. Oh, yeah, you're not new here. Okay. Which number did you choose? So I know which... Oh my god, I almost said which stick to use. God, whoops. Number between 1 and 4, pick your number. And do you want the goddesses or demons for you? Looks so cheesy when it's done. Okay. Alright. Okay. Got heaven or hell to row. And okay, where is our wild and there we go. Okay, let me just grab, like I've always used. Let me just grab everybody's favorite shining star divine right quick. Alrighty, so right out the bat, we're standing in front of Lucifer, and you're probably wondering, oh, you just pulled him out? Yep, so that way we have the truth come out. We have the awareness and the... Okay. I'm being kind of like pulled to actually pull two alongside our favorite shining star, so we'll see what comes out. Hey, that wasn't nice. That's not really nice to slap the cards out of my hand, guys. Very funny. Oh, let me try that again. Rude. Just gotta love it when, you know, they just decide to come in and be all like, oh, whoops. No, Lilith. Fine if you want to. First one is Alistair. Oh boy. Alistair is one. Oh my lord. Alistair is quite the, how do I put this? If you need somebody to get their head cut off, Alistair's the one you call. Kind of like Nemesis, if you know Nemesis from Greek mythology. Oh my lord. So Alistair, okay, we have he who's not having it. Alongside, oh. All I gotta say is, sex to be him. You have Andres and Alistair come out alongside Lucifer. Okay, how am I gonna put this? Well, for one, Alistair is known as the, well, at least on the left-handed side, Alistair is known and has his title is known as the Grand Executioner. Hope your tires fall off mid-drive, dude. That's not cute. Anyway, Alistair is known as the Great Executioner. Essentially, honey bear, piss before I pop your tires. Thank you. Alistair is known as the Grand Executioner, meaning that he's the one that beheads people in the kingdom that's known as Lucifer. He is also very strict, and sentences passed down by the kings of the Latinaside. It also his name may reference to the vengeful spirit, or the personification of a wrathful and destructive, like overkill kind of justice. So like think of Nemesis from Greek mythology, who's completely like, has to be neutral. Somebody who's in bad gets kicked in the tush up, and then somebody who is in the good gets kicked in the tush down. So everything gets balanced out. But Alistair is very feisty and aggressive. And now we then turn towards Marquis Andres. But Andres is one of those that is misstepped just wrong by one little toe to the ground. One little misstep like that, you get yourself beheaded. That's how, potentially feisty and dangerous and threatening he can be. So altogether, most definitely right off the bat we have, but most definitely what I'm getting after this is that you definitely have the ability, the capability, and the potential to go towards the X in a way that can seriously mess him up. And by seriously mess him up, like in a way that takes his reputation and then just snaps it in half and then throws it off a cliff, laughing at it as it's going, there goes his reputation, there goes half of his wealth, there goes this, there goes that. You have potential to cause a lot of damage if you deem fit. Get that thing to stop making that noise, dude. It's not attractive. Oh man, thinking their thing between their legs is so attractive, but it's like a misfiring pistol. But anyway. You done? Anyway, so you definitely have potential to cause a lot of damage. But also, since Andres is more of a, he's not as, he doesn't take as much action as Alistair, but Andres is kind of like more potent at sowing seeds of discord and dread. So this one's more of like your 3D, feisty, aggressive, and overkilling. Well, this one's more like, it would be such a shame if somebody had a drastic slip, or no, had a tragic slip, and it was an accident, and it looked like an accident. It's that mental dread, like, almost like how Lilith does her passive-aggressive, like, no, keep doing your stupid stuff, kid. Nope, no. You're in life, you got this. Nope, stupid's better. Kind of like that, but with Andres is more like, so, an impending doom? It might actually happen sooner than you think, and by soon, probably less than half a minute, or double it. That kind of aggression. So, that's at least the oracles, what the daemons are pretty much pointing to currently. But you definitely have potential to cripple him pretty bad. You have the potential to do it. Should you do it? Why not? Done something to deserve asking about it, so. If he didn't, then you probably want to be having the idea of like, X doing stupid stuff and having, behind my back happen? I hope not, because if that's the case, sucks to be him. So, okay, I'm being told to do a cross spread. Yeah. Alright, Jazzy, were you the one that commented on the video, which one was it? The one about karma? About like when I was describing karma? I'm making sure that I'm remembering names right. And there's, get that out of, oh God, forbid. You're so hot, dude. Oh, look at that. Oh man, that's just so attractive having that much gas. No, it's not. It's obnoxious. Okay, Jazzy, good. Thought so. Yep. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that I am starting to I'm able to point out my regulars, if that makes sense. So now the cross for, okay, so about the X that is probably gonna wish that he didn't do what he did to be an X in the first place. Let's see what comes out. Or, nope, okay. I swear to God, dude, if you keep having that thing go off, you know, I have never in all my times of living have I ever been so tempted to take a penny and put it down a gas tank. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, look at me. I'm not the one who's, having raspberries nonstop. Stop eating your beans, kid. Well, current standing, we have the 10 of Pentacles, and we have Venus in Virgo and Mercury in Virgo. So, current position, 10 of Pentacles, well, currently the way that you're standing right now is one less problem without you. I got one less problem. I don't know why that just got. Oh, God. I was not expecting Iggy Azalea's song to come in like that, but yeah. This is you're currently in a standing where you're like, I'm comfy. I have like my financial needs in standing okay and pretty much met. I'm leaving this old geezer out in the dust. This is for Lisa. And I mean, this is just, to me, it's hysterical because there's one old geezer in the back, in the front right there. And he's looking at the two people there. And he's like, what? I'm being left out. Hold on. I can't move that fast. Well, it's probably because I didn't. Yeah. Or even better yet, another one you can listen to is Black Widow. I mean, I love that one. That would go fitting with the demons. But I did. Actually, I think it might actually be my skincare routine is starting to kick back in. Because what I do is I take a little bit of like rose petals, and I pretty much just put some essential oil in there, and my like this face scrub that I put on that kind of has a bit of it has some black charcoal, activated black charcoal, and some, what was it, like some glitter, and yeah, that's what I use. But anyway. Current standing 10 of Pentacles, so you're pretty much in a standing where you're financially secure and okay. And even if there's any animals, like a pet's involved, even them, they're looking at him like, you lost a woman, lost a woman, nope, you're not going to come back this way, prick. No, really, because if you look, there's one dog right, not the one that's closest to him, actually, wait. Oh, that dog's holding a book. So possibly, maybe you have one dog, like, you're having an energy that's saying, nope, you can't pass. You need a password, old man. And then there's another energy of something saying like, you have to pay your fine and get in, dude. You have to pay your taxes. Oh, you're not gonna pay the toll? Then you better get going before I start becoming an ankle biter. So possibly there must be some kind of debt that this old geezer owes that he is probably not paying. And funny enough, the dog also looks like he has another thing of scales in his mouth. So yeah, a legal situation. The dog is pretty much trying to like ankle bite him, but like, listen, dude, you got debts to pay, but you're already far ahead anyway in compared to him, because he's like stuck at he's stuck at the grand entrance, like, nope, you have to pay your fine if you want to have anything good happen. That was a random bark noise. And you're encountering Ten of Cups. So what I'm getting from this, having the Ten of Pentacles and now the Ten of Cups, it pretty well, and also it's Venus in Pisces and Mars in Pisces, but specifically what I'm getting from this, yes, you're getting not only 3D mundane fulfillment, but you're also going to be getting emotional fulfillment from this whole standing right now. So not only are you going to be living life comfortably as your current standing, but pretty soon you're going to be encountering like emotional fulfillment, like, oh, I'm just so fulfilled I can, be like children and run away from this twat head. Or even better yet, I don't know why this just popped in my head. You see the man figure and the woman figure? Yeah, that's the ex and his new, quote unquote, supposed to be, well, better, quote unquote, better broad, double B. Whatever, we'll go with it. The better broad. Wow, okay. But meanwhile, while he's having the better broad, you're actually having you have potential to have a new childlike bond with somebody else, since there's the two children and they're running away from those two. The better broad. I don't know why. Oh well. Sometimes men need to experience that. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh, you just realized this? Oh well. Gotta learn somehow. The foundation, or the cause of all this, is the Chariot. So we have a Cancerian card going Hong Kong Phooey. And yep, I know, if you're looking at me like, you're kind of young to know that, don't you? Nope, I know about it. So essentially the foundation is that something is pretty much been going face first really fast. And you are pretty much armored up and ready to go to combat. And I'm not surprised, because you have Alistair and Andres as your left-handed divines. Just in the back, just saying, we're in the current moment and we're ready to swing, especially Alistair. And I don't know why this just popped up, but we're going to go with it. Okay. So, you see the Chariot, right? Okay. The Chariot guy, okay, keep that in mind. Charioteer, Lucifer. Then the two Sphinxes, one's out Andres and the other's Alistair. Cause of this is most likely seeing who is ready to lead the way and be going face first into, wishing that guy wasn't trying to be in Jackass, Divorce Edition. I don't even get how hard it is to even... Never mind. Yep. Now, you know what they say, sometimes the best protector is one's child. Sometimes. I mean, I can attest to that, because when it comes to me and my mother, yeah, I'm very protective. What's behind you or backing you up? What's behind you is the Nine of Swords. This depiction, we have a nude woman in a blanket, and she's covering her face like if there's something haunting her or pretty much trying to harm her. So pretty much I get this. What's behind you is a situation where you felt like exposed and you didn't know what was going to happen. That's behind you. It's gone out of their life. And you better stay out of there. Stay out of here. Otherwise, he's going to get a spear to the... That doesn't even make sense. A spear to the... a spear to the... I'm going to card kid go with it. On top of your head, or what's the best case scenario desired to happen? The two of twigs. So the best case scenario, I don't know why this just popped in my head. But the best case scenario is having full control and having this being able to make a decision like, I can completely overkill this dude, or I could be merciful. and I can only choose one stick. Well, I mean, the way I look at it is just like, I mean, I even put it this way. There was something that I think you said, or was said, that pretty much how somebody was like coming at you like, you better sign this or you're going to be contempt in court. And then I pretty much started to respond and like, oh, I'm going to be contempt in court? Really? First, you. Second, and how am I supposed to know you're speaking for him? Third, if that's the case, ID please and proof of it in writing. Otherwise, I don't know who you is. I ain't telling you nothing, hon. I'm just saying, you can be like that. Don't be afraid to get extra see fitty if he's being a pain in the tush. Okay? Nitpick the living heck out of him. There's nothing in the rule book that says you can't nitpick. And you, of course, know. Don't ever believe at all that somebody says you have to sign it. Well, would you mind doing the honors? You want me to do what? You want me to sign paper? You want me to make you scribble on a piece of paper? You want me to do it? Why? Why can't you do it? Oh, that's right. If you do that in this world, that's illegal. And that's identity theft. And that's a felony. So I'm not feeling to sign them. And if, somehow magically they get signed, oh, identity theft and fraud. Uh-oh. That's not my business. Heck, if he put you through all this torturous stuff, turnabout is fair play. Bonus points. Bonus points you would take. Yeah, if there's some way to negotiate more than just half of it, screw it. Take more than just knocking the wind out of him by taking half of his stuff. Pretty much just, kick him in the shins. Falsify. Oh! Falsify tax information. That's a federal crime against the IRS. That's tax fraud. I don't care even if it's Dick Cheney or whoever comes in and says, sign the papers. Nope. You wish. Why can't you sign them yourself? Why don't you put your signature on them? You can do it. I'm not going to do it. And even then, too, if they are actually pushing you to actually sign that, troll face. I kind of want to actually make a note of the court that they're trying to, make me sign tax fraud documents, which is a felony. Oops, don't look at me. They're the ones who are being extra pushy. Heck, don't be afraid to get feisty sassy and, be all like, oh yeah, I'll definitely sign it. Just send me the paperwork. Got the copy? Perfect. I'll send it back over as soon as it's signed. Your Honor, they were trying to make me sign fake and falsified tax documents, which I didn't sign because they just shot themselves in the foot. Because they sent you those documents to sign, plus having it be as evidence 3D and like actual proof of them pushing you to sign it. Oops, there's evidence to trying to forcefully make someone commit a crime. Another trying to pretty much, what's it called? It's pretty much they're provoking an illegal course event. They're like promoting a crime to take place. Ooh, well, I'd be ashamed if well, it'd be quite the shame, if something bad happened. And by that I mean like, oh no, I'll sign it definitely, Your Honor. There you go. There's no rule book that says I don't have to do that. Oh, and by the way, what's coming towards you is the High Priestess. So coming towards you, you're going to be in a perfect state of Zen. and you're going to be getting divine guidance and having your intuition's going to be really helping you guide your way to where it needs to go. And also, I just noticed this. A little dagger right there in the ground to the left. Yep, that pretty much is showing, at least to the past, that there's going to be something like sticking a fork in it, but instead of it being a fork, it's a knife. So it's going to be pretty much stabbed in the ground and stuck there. And you're going to be getting your Zen. Self-perception. Self-perception is justice. So you're definitely seeing, you're having a vision of yourself, and you're viewing yourself as like, look, Cupcake, I'm not going to be pulling any kind of BS against myself. I'm keeping myself balanced and to the ground, and making sure that I'm being fair and just to myself first. Nobody else. Nobody else. I'm making sure I'm balanced and cared for. Everybody else can get pushed up. Everybody else involved can get pushed off the cliff. So, yeah. Outside perception. We have outside perception. Oh, this is going to be a good one. The outside perception, we have the Empress. Well, those outside of you are seeing yourself as the Empress. And what's really even more giggly, you have the two Venus-ruled cards of the Zodiac. You have Libra and Taurus, because the Empress is really a Taurus card. So when it comes to the mundane everyday and how you see yourself, you're seeing yourself as balanced and just keeping yourself cared for 100%. While those outside of you are seeing you as, oh boy, we're trying to fight a queen here. I don't think we're going to know how to even do this. Because when have you heard, somebody trying to, defeat the queen? Because when you swing at the queen, you're going to get the royal guard thrown at you. And nobody tells the queen no, because you tell the queen no, but you're going to get yourself beheaded. And if the king tells the queen no, well, guess who's not getting a hand, if you catch my drift. And also, in this depiction too, you actually see her holding a lotus flower. And it is being raised above her head. And that's a symbol of, despite all the BS that you're going through, and even the look on her face is just all like, oh, really, dude? Like, really? Whatever. Despite, going through this, you're still going to just appear and go completely above it. And you're going to rise above it. Even if it might be taxing to your thoughts and in all the other sectors of your life, you'll get through. And you'll be able to come into the ground and still be even better off than you were when you were with the Twilight in the first place. What you're hoping for, but also deathly afraid of, you're hoping for the Six of Swords to be moving away from the BS and moving to more stable waters, but as well at the same time, you're also afraid that once you're past all this, that it'll happen again. The outcome to most likely come about. I just love when that happens. Outcome to come about, we have the Queen of Sass, and looks like he's going to get beheaded. Yep, he's going to get beheaded. So, yep, outcome, Queen of Sass. Well, you're not going to be having this. And just for giggles, clarify that Queen of Swords. Give me 2 more to clarify that outcome, if you would be so kind. King of Wands. And King of Cups. Well, I can most definitely say this. clarifying this Queen of Swords, you most definitely are going to have emotional maturity about this and being realistic and practical and mature regarding the emotions about it. About, cutting off his head, being, in control and being, like, realistic. But also at the same time, you're also going to burn him to a crisp. Because the King of Wands is flaming and extra flaming. And just one more card for advice. Oh, yep, you're going to be able to move away from it. No problem. Just make sure you keep your emotions in check, but still at the same time being in control, but still taking the jabs when you can. Especially, remember that to be technical. Yes, Tyler, you may go next. Just at least make sure you are putting your emotions in check and making sure you're able to swing when it needs to be swung, but also in a way that's kind of like a backhanded insult. Three, two, 2, 3, 1. I haven't seen that. I don't even know what that is, to be honest. Numbers. The numbers in Jack go 3, 2, 3, 1, 8, 6. I'm not really sure. Is it like the like ratio and the people in the room ratio? Is that what it is? So I'm gonna go with, okay, Tyler will be next, and then after Tyler will be Jazzy. So okay, Tyler, pick a number between 1 and 4, and do you want demons or dark goddesses? It took me a minute. And then after when I'm done with Tyler, that'll be my last one. And by demons or dark goddesses, I mean like Oracle. Dark goddess, Oracle, or demons. 4 and goddesses. Of course, who doesn't like a flamer? What? It's funny. Okay, 4. Okay. We're gonna go swap it in the back. Okay. Alrighty, now let me know what I'm looking into as well. Here we got the dark goddesses. And what am I looking into? Whichever you want me to look into. It can be that I like being a 2-time intellect. Am I going to get, or like my financial standing, what I need to know about my financial standing. Oh yeah, that number, I'm like, that thing keeps going sporadically too. Yeah, okay. And I mean, this is the way that I like to go about it, at least with people that have that condition about them. It is what it is, and besides, because mine also has that challenge. And by the way, your deck is definitely not Tim Burton Tarot or even Moon, so you know. And really, it's pretty much you just have to really understand how it happens and pretty much capitalize and enjoy it when time goes up, but also be aware and understanding when time goes down. It just needs more patience. So anyway, what was I gonna do? Okay. What is the darkness in your twin flame? Okay. yeah, that's, well, depends what you call normal. I'm far from normal. But so that way you know, the way that dark goddesses, the way that I pull them goes like this. The first one to come out is the one that's in power, or in other words, the one that's the most prevalent in the current standing right now, and is able to help you the most currently. The next one is the one you had to seek out and get guidance from, and pretty much, not, I wouldn't say embody, but pretty much take her wisdom and her guidance to get the most out of it. And the last one is like, please, if you forget this, no. Don't forget me, please. Don't forget what this goddess has taught you. If that makes sense. And right off the bat, we have our first one. Well, honey bear, let go of it. There's that one. And there's the one mustn't be forgotten. Okay, goddess in power. Collect. Just say she is like, how do I put this? Essentially, if you were to put Collect against The Rock, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, if he tried to like move her and like push her, she's not gonna move. And like if he tried shoving her, she would just not even move. She's tough, and she has a lot of endurance. So currently in the situation, when it comes to the twin flame in question, they're going through a lot, but they may not be playing it off that they're going through a hard time. And they may look like they could maybe use help, but at the same time, it would be best to approach them to see if they need the assistance. But most definitely keep in mind, they're tough. And Collect is kind of reminding that, hey, sometimes in the dark time of life, sometimes you just have to grit your teeth and go through it and face it. And just endure it. And if it hurts, don't reveal that it hurts. Because when you start revealing that something hurts, people will then just keep swinging at that. But just know right now is optimal for trying to maintain your willpower towards the twin flame, or even the twin flame needs to be reminded that they have the willpower and capability to withstand a lot of anvils to the head. And if they have a strong will, they won't be able to get knocked over. You must seek out Tiamat, control. Now Tiamat. Now Tiamat goes like this. You must seek out control. That being said, sometimes you might have to be stepping in anyway if he won't ask for help and won't let you help. If there's something that clearly he cannot comprehend or understand, or if you see something that is affecting his state of mind or his sense of peace and his sense of being secure, sometimes you have to take a step in and be like, here, got this. What'd you do that for? Well, if you weren't going to be doing it the way that I did, you'd be getting a slap in the face from something bad. Sometimes what you have to do is you have to step in when someone's not apparent or aware of what's happening. But still, another thing too, that's another potential way of looking at it. If you're having the thought of having to constantly always be there and like kind of control what's surrounding him and the events around him, sometimes if you feel that he's not being appreciative, well, take control of yourself and move backwards. If he appreciates you, then still be there and offer the help when needed, but don't be like jumping in to be like, oh, I got you, milkshake. No, because he's a toughie. So you can either control the self or you can control the situations to help him if he's appreciating it. If he ain't appreciating it, just, well, I would help, but the last time I tried to help, you got into a hissy fit, so I don't know if I should again. Just know that ultimately, keep control of yourself And sometimes, if you have to do something that has to be done for the well-being of you and him, then it has to be done. If he hissy fits for that, well, life sucks, milkshake. Not everything being done that you think it's, how it should be done. Sometimes people can see a perspective that you can't see. So when someone steps in to try and help, if they have the positive intention of supporting and helping you go up, always see it as that. Because if they didn't care, they would be long gone. You mustn't forget. Wow, talk about feisty. You must not forget Mauve for determination. Now, Mauve was like this. Mauve was quite the one that pretty much took, instead of it being like a woman desiring a man, men were desiring her. And pretty much she actually made men the ones kissing her feet. Because she was a very in-your-face and pretty warlike figure. But what I'm really getting from this is that if you're going to be having control and a choice, if you're whatever choice you're going with, if you're going in to go face first into helping him, don't let him kind of slow you down and say, like, I got this. Sit. What's got into you? I said sit. Wow, I have never seen you like this. Well, stop thinking that, I'm going to let you just go through for a long time for nothing. Because if there's endurance to handle said stress, it is what it is. But you need to have determination of endurance. You need to be determined that you're going to endure it. Because if you also seek out to have full control over the self and mastery of the self, you actually be able to keep these three in good check with each other. Because if right now you can endure it, but then you have to also seek out a way to better control the self and the situation. Just don't forget to be determined about it and not given any hoo-haws or any kind of shenanigans about whatever anybody does, or even him trying to misdirect you or tell you otherwise what you can and can't do. Because once you're determined about something, it's pretty much just like tunnel vision. When you have tunnel vision to something, it doesn't even matter if a big, fat, winged pink elephant just goes, you're still going for it. So now, for now, the definitely not Tim Burton Tarot. I'm trying to see which spark's going to jump out of my face, not literally. Okay, fine. We're going to be doing one of my unique spreads. First card to come flying out is your standing. The second one is going to be him. Third one is going to be the two of you as a unit. And then we'll go from there after the triangle. First card to come out for you. Let me just bend down and break my back. Oh, getting old for this. Ugh. First card. For you, we have death. Now, don't be thinking like, I'm gonna die. No. Don't be thinking that. But anyway, for me, this death card's kind of cute because look at the little thing that getting squished. Is like, why are you stabbing at me, Mom? Just quiet. Well, if it gets anywhere close like that, just make sure you get life insurance so that way you can come back and try again. Whoopsies happen, and besides, heck, you get to start with a new life. Oh, that's not how it works. Well, I tried. Okay, so we have you currently in death. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And for him, we have the Seven of Pentacles. And this card just flew out of the deck. So we have you being Death, and then him being the Seven of Pentacles, and then the two of you together is Strength. And I'm probably guessing that this is probably a fitting one for both. So now we're going to pull 3 more cards for each one that got pulled out for like clarifiers. Oops, wrong switch. Because I don't want these cards to go flying off. So anyway, first 3 for you, 3 for him, and then the 3 for both is scooch right there. Hook it up. Okay, so the first 3 to come about for you. Six of Wands. Oh, that's off to a good start. We have a victory. Ten of Swords. Talk about having something being like having to kick the bucket, not once, but twice, but in an extreme way. Well, it is what it is. And King who strokes the big stick, King of Wands. Okay. Okay. Interesting pull. Then as for him, clarifying that Seven of Pentacles, we have Nine of Swords. Which one? King of Wands. He with many sticks. Nine of Swords. Ace of Wands. Hey, I'm somebody who reads the cards just how they are, and I don't read it as a positive or negative. It is what it is. I don't read primarily in that polarity. It's just I don't know what just happened, and I'm gonna hope to Lord Lanta doesn't happen again, because that was rude. But anyway, does this thing? Okay, good. It still kept the chance. So now for clarifying the strength between the two. I'm buff. Yeah, no, I'm not even close. I'm just trimmed, I guess. That's the right word. So strength. Clarifying the strength in this case is a man trying to put his head down a fish's mouth. Why are you sticking your head in fish, dude? Well, we have the Sassy Emperor. Sassy Emperor gone sass. Six of Pentacles. Yeesh. And the Queen of Wands. Well. So for you, I'm getting this. So, at least on your side, it being Death, Ten of Swords, King of Wands, and Six of Wands. Right off the bat, I mean, there's, at least on your end, there's just something that you're pretty much at the point of like, look, I'm getting tired of this, I'm getting sick of this crap, and I'm wanting it to stop so that way something else can come in for once. Like, oh, I know. Something that's victorious and we can celebrate about. Heck, even it could be, you know, a really hot flaming guy that knows how to handle his stick and be able to know and take direction. Oh, all right. Bye, Desi. Next time, if you're in here, whenever I'm doing readings, I'll make sure to do yours. But yes. Yeah, you're kind of like, really, dude? You're supposed... That just popped in my head. For you, you're pretty much at the state like, really, dude? You're supposed to be he who is handling sticks, and that's your element, dude. Come on. Why do you not know how to handle your stick? Come on, Cupcake. Even, look at the children. They're even amazed at how you handle your stick. Come on, dude. You're not new here. You're in your own element. And you're wanting to have just that overall standing of like how his standings currently, because the way that this spread works is that the first two cards, you and him, pretty much they're influencing the other person, if that makes sense. So there is a lot of desire to have something really just be like, no, enough of it. Enough of this crap. Be the king of twigs you want to be and need to be, so that way we can celebrate, your mastery with twigs and have a lot of zest come about of it. Don't know why I use that term, but you get the idea. A lot of zest and a lot of like bang for it. But now for him. You know what they say. The women gender is more superior. I know that might be sexist, but hear me out. Which gender goes through the most pain? At the highest point of pain threshold. The woman. Which one's more intelligent? The woman, even though the brain's smaller. Don't look at me, that's how it is. But now for him. Seven of Pentacles, trying way too much and having way too much, trying so hard to get something that needs time and not even paying attention to what's around him. Because he's trying so hard to knock down these pentacles with a stick. He's trying to get his, his quote-unquote fruit and his nourishment from something that he is not tall enough, and he's clearly not hitting it. In fact, when he's trying to get it, he's actually stabbing the thing trying to get the nourishment from. It's like he's trying to get the nourishment by knocking down the pentacles, but he instead hurts the thing trying to take care and nourish him. And instead, he's feeding. Down here, you can see snakes. 2 snakes. So pretty much what he's doing is that he is kind of not really taking care and precaution, trying to get care in the whole situation for himself the best that he can. And it looks like he's actually feeding other people or feeding something else from the nourishment that's being provided to him. The provider is being harmed and feeding somebody else based on what they're putting out intended for him. But even that, he's looking at it like, oh, I missed. But no shit, you missed, kid. Can you use your head and, look before poking? I'm going to assume that didn't come out the way it did, but that's how it is. So, for him, his standing is very, oh, I want my nourishment, but I don't know how to get it, so oops, I'm sorry. So it's kind of like in a way that he's not really taking the proper precautions and trying to get something in a way that's not really the most beneficial. And his 3 cards are 9 of Swords, Ace of Twigs, 10 of Cups. Roll right off the bat. He has the willpower and the energy to most definitely go about bringing in change. He has the fire and he has the zest to do it. He has the potential. And he can actually put in a lot of energy into bringing the much needed change. But for whatever, God, no, actually here, I'll put it this way. He can definitely bring in the change that he needs. And he'll bring in so much emotional fulfillment. So much. And happiness. even though he may be a little bit hurt by something, but he'll still be fulfilled. But for God knows why, for whatever bloody reason, I, I, I don't know if I could do it. Keep, don't, no, don't do that. Don't do stuff that's gonna make you happy. No, no, don't do that. Keep poking the tree. Keep poking the tree. Hey, human, how come you haven't fed me yet? I'm starting to get ill. So he's intimidated and fearful of it. He's fearful, probably most likely because him taking the necessary action to actually change this situation with the Seven of Pentacles. He has potential to do it, and he can do it, and he has an everlasting flame of it being under his tush to actually inspire it to become very fulfilling and emotionally fulfilled and bring in real happiness. But he's too timid, and he's listening to something mess with his head, and he's possibly even maybe even doing self-harm because the figure is biting himself. Just a thought. And if he has a pet cat, yeah, if you take a look, you see the figure biting himself. Even though that is technically a form of stemming, to be honest, it is a form of self-harm because one is trying to exert their state of being uncomfortable by pretty much distracting their mind by causing pain somewhere. It's like it changes their focus. And yes, pet cat, there's the kitty. So possibly he could be very anxious over something surrounding a cat. Or, maybe a change that he's too fearful to make involves the cat and its standing. But nonetheless, he does have the potential, and he does have the energy to nurse and bring in the happiness. But the thing is, there has to be that sense of sometimes thoughts can paralyze you. But at the end of the day, when the realization is like, oh, that's just a thought. It can't do anything to me. Yep, exactly. Have courage to do it. But thoughts on their own, all they can do is just do this. That's all they can do. They can't affect you physically. They can't command you. They can't force you to do anything. They just do this. Nonstop. That's all they do. And if you don't allow this to overpower your choices, you're golden. But now for between the two of you, here's what we got. We have strength. Well, right now we currently have, someone kind of prying open something that is kind of frustrating the other person. One is kind of being in a state where he's kind of like a fish out of water. So he's not really in his own element. Or somebody is being out of their element, and while the other person is having kind of full control over the situation, be it good or bad. But specifically, there is this element of somebody really trying to figure out, what's wrong with you, dude? Tell me, open your mouth, let me see what's in there. Open your mouth and tell me what's wrong. There is that element, and specifically because since, at least in this depiction, I'm getting a very strong Pisces energy because of the fish. Somebody is not really opening up with their emotions, and the other person is getting like table flippy on them. And then the three cards supporting it are Six of Pentacles, a very sassy, lippy Emperor, and then the Queen of Wands. So most definitely, what I'm getting is the Queen of Wands. Well, you know what they say about a queen, you never tell her no. And she always gets what she wants. So in the situation, on your side, I'm getting it from your side, the Queen of Wands is taking control. And the Emperor even though kind of being a little bit lippy and you know, making a smug face. And even though he's kind of being a bit of a hissy fitter, the Queen of Wands is kind of like exerting her power over the Emperor, telling him like, look, dude, listen, boy, remember who's the one that controls the zipper, dude? And I kind of heard from a bird that for some reason, somehow men can't handle themselves. Is that true? I hope not. Because usually the Queen of Wands is usually seen as one of the lowest cards. And the way she thinks is like, oh, come on, dude. Really, dude? Wow, you can't handle your own sausage? You need someone else to do it for you? I mean, I do have 4 arms, yes, but no, honey. You only need 1, and I'm not going to give you any of my 4. Why don't you be a big boy and stop hissy fitting and, you know, speak what's bothering you? And in this case, what I'm getting, with the last card being the 6 of Pentacles, if you take a notice, it actually looks like the Emperor. It does look like the Emperor handing off one of the Pentacles off to the person that's down there. So essentially what I'm getting is this. Because since we have the 6 of the Emperor and the Queen of Wands, it does look like the Emperor is looking towards the 6 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Pentacles figure down below does look like the other half to the 6 of Pentacles figure down at the bottom. So it looks like the Emperor is being, you know, pushed to finally give the Queen of Wands what's needed so that way things can be a little bit more secure. So most definitely between you two, the Queen has to step up and, you know, even if the Emperor hissy fists, just, you know, telling him like, look, dude, if I didn't give a crap about you, I wouldn't be saying anything. But yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, gosh. But the Queen has to step in and tell the Emperor, you know, ever heard about like the pieces in chess? Who's the strongest piece? Who's the piece that's the most, you know, terrifying? The Queen. Because the Queen is the backbone to the king. When the king doesn't have a queen, oh, be back, and worthless. But when it's just the Queen, well, the Queen doesn't need nobody. The Queen just needs to exist, and she's all good. Really. Because not really does a queen ever need a king. Because the Queen pretty much just says what she wants, and she gets it. The king, in order for him to get what he wants from the Queen, he kind of has to bend to her will and her desires. So most definitely, and even also the Queen is also the most supportive figure to a king, because that's like his, again, backbone. If he doesn't take care of his backbone, he's gonna fall over. So most definitely be determined. And even if he says he's tough and endured, remind him that, hey, listen, you need your queen. If you don't have your queen, sucks to be you, kid. You can handle your empire on your own. Well, I'm going to be over here enjoying my queen status. And just being like all this to our royal butler. Stetson. Yes, McQueen. Carry me, please. But what about the king? Carry me down the steps. Okay, my lady. But pretty much, really. Actually, there's a deck that I have that actually has a butler in it, and it's actually an inside joke where whenever he pops up every time in that deck, no matter what position he goes, especially like if he's the cause of the problem or cause of the reading, I always go, what's the cause of all this? Damn it, Stetson, again? But still, the whole idea is that he has to be able to express what he's going through and what he's experiencing, and even if it's not asking for help, it's just expressing and having that openness to be able to know what's going on. That does wonders. And sometimes people don't even want to even misstep into it. They just actually want to know because they're concerned. And that's really a good quality to have, because nowadays a lot of people are like, me, I don't care about you. It looks like he's this. It looks like he's all, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm baiting. I'm lost here. That's what it seems like. And even then, too, I mean, I would be kind of like point blank and saying, just say what's on your mind, dude. Just speak it. If you can have other people speak for you, and you can talk to them, why can't you talk to me? What makes me different than them? I'm legitimately asking. Why? I mean, what is there to be afraid of? Be emotionally mature, dude. King of Cups. That's really... Yep, and you might have to play like a chess game. He just goes silent? But why? But, I mean, I don't get it, though. Why does he go silent when it's just like, I really want to talk to you? Opportunity arises. Really, dude. That's like saying, oh my god, I don't know why that popped up. It's kind of like going, you stick your right foot in, you stick your right foot out, you stick your right foot back in. Oh, now you're taking it back out. What the heck do you want, kid? Speak your mind. Choose your twig, you stupid fool. Oh, look at that. I actually said, wow. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Wow. But seriously, he's gonna have to like, he has to choose his stick, pick the stick, pick whichever twig he wants, and stop being a dimwit or a dingus or thinking that, oh, I'm just naive and I'm just being cutesy. No, it's kind of being like obnoxious. Like it's like a non. It's like being obnoxious but not being loud. It's like a. Are you a Luffy Loof? Dude, what was that for? Well, you keep saying that you need to say something to me, but when I'm here ready to listen, you're just... like... to me, it doesn't make sense to me. Oh no, trust me. I used to do cage fighting when I was younger, and I'm 28. But when I was a teenager, I used to practice and do cage fighting. So wait a minute. Saturn conjunct what? Because I'm also a Vedic. Well, I'm a Vedic and Western astrologer, and if you see it back there, those are two of my credentials. And I kind of have my specialty is like synastry and relationship astrology. Funny enough, and yeah, those ones are for the relationship. Oh, so he has a moon in Aquarius. He has a moon in Aquarius, then, right? Okay, so Venus. Okay, so his ruler is Venus. Okay, Taurus Lugna. Okay. Because in the transit right now, Saturn's in Aquarius. Well, it depends on what system you're looking at. Because Saturn right now is in Aquarius, and in Western and Vedic, it's Capricorn right now. But I can... Well, let me just plug in my astrology knowledge stuff into this real quick. Okay, you're getting more than just like the card reading, and consider yourself lucky. So, welcome to Bean's List. Okay, so do you know his birth date and birth time and birthplace? January 2004, okay. Oh, Draconic, okay, that changes everything, because I only read Vedic, and I read Western and Vedic, so that changes everything. 3, that's KPM, and gotta go down this long. Oh. Okay. Okay, and do you want me to go? Okay, alley up. Hold on. Let me just. Okay, got it. I don't care about firewall. Well. So, first question. No, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just like, okay. Well, he has. Okay. When it comes to. Have you met his mother at all? And do you know, like, of his mother at all? Have you spoken to her? Okay, well, just be very careful, because his mother can be very egotistical and may be very in the way that, yeah, but specifically, that would be, okay. The mother figure, like, that would, divorced and lives with the, okay, so if he lives with the grandmother, then that would be, by default, it would be over here. He has a very deep attachment to the grandmother, so that way you know. And also, he may, like, in his mind, he's always thinking about, like, he's trying to find something, like, no matter what he does, he feels like he has to pursue something. And he's always on the hunt for something. But he doesn't even know what he's on the hunt for. And he doesn't like sitting still for some reason. And for some reason, he also feels very like when he communicates, he communicates in a way that's like very concerned about people's emotional health. But but the way he communicates is in a way that is like it can go one way, then it's this way. It's just unpredictable. And the only way for him to feel stable is if he can actually like talk to his friends as if they're like his mother. That's what I'm getting from this. But he's also very emotionally attached to people that are like his teachers or like higher. Like if he was to talk to somebody who's like a philosopher, educator, teacher, religious figure, like a priest or guru figure, he'll be actually be able to talk to them a lot more simpler. And he also needs to be aware too that on the daily, he's going to be so disinterested in trying to balance out things. If that makes sense. He's disinterested in his daily routine that involves making sure things are balanced and taken care of. And he's kind of detached when pretty much thinking about other people in a way that it can kind of come off as he's like doesn't really care or doesn't have the interest in actually maintaining something between himself and somebody else. It can come off that way. So he's kind of like a little bit meh with dealing with the day-to-day thing. So that can also show that day-to-day interactions and relationships between him and other people, friendships, or anybody, he kind of doesn't prefer to have it be like the same routine thing. Instead, he would rather it be like this instead. For him, it's best to engage and interact with him or speak to him in a long distance, but with also a lot of energy. You're probably thinking, how the heck is that going to work? Simple. When you're far away from the distance, this is where his Rahu's at, in the 12th house in the sign of Aries. Pretty much is this. The 12th house is long distance travel. It's in the spiritual world. It's also the house of loss, long distance travel, the subconscious. So most definitely, if you practice occult science, if you do any kind of spiritual work or any kind of magical work at all, and you're sending it to him with a lot of energy to it, it's gonna hit him. It's gonna hit him, and he's gonna become like drawn to it, because Rahu is it's like Pac-Man. He just keeps gobbling nonstop. In Aries, specifically in Barney is the part of Aries that pretty much deals with death and transformation. So if you take initiative to change it on the subconscious level to him by doing any kind of like magical workings, it's gonna go. That's gonna hit him, because Barney is about transformation, and occult science is specifically intended to change the physical 3D by influencing it with unphysical means. So love work, love magic, that is meant to like kind of take a state that's kind of like and pretty much inspire them, giving him a good love tap. That's going to be a big help. And sometimes, if you need to, if the friends actually speak through him instead, make sure you take more action into going towards those friends of his, because specifically his Mars is in the 12th, is in the sign of Pisces, in the 11th. So if you put in a lot of energy towards his friends and also kind of go at them in a way that's like, we need to move, there has to be a lot of movement of the feet, so there has to be a lot of footwork when interacting with the friends in order for him to get that connection and actually expand with a network circle. But in order for him to gain too, he has to move with his feet, and he has to actually physically move them. Because Pisces is the feet and Mars is the action. But he does have this though, which I'll give him. He has Venus and Jupiter looking at one another. And Venus, what I have it placed is, this is a good one. Venus in the 10th in the sign of Aquarius, 0 degrees. That's important. And in the nakshatra or constellation of Dhaneshta. Dhaneshta is like this. Dhaneshta is feisty, warlike, does as it pleases, and doesn't put up with BS. Venus in Dhaneshta, but specifically now we're putting it in Aquarius. Venus in Aquarius is in a friendly sign of her best friend Saturn. Yep. But Venus in Dhaneshta, his lover or intended spouse figure, is going to be somebody that's not going to put up with any BS. No. Like, spouse figure for him is going to be somebody who, best way to put it, his spouse figure is going to be like a lioness. A lioness. That's the best way I can put it. Is not going to take any BS from you. They're going to, and the spouse figure is going to be somebody who is, I have so many thoughts going through my head. I'm trying to have them one at a time, guys. Spouse figure is going to be somebody who is not stupid. They know what's going on. And they, if there's something that has to be, if there has to be something being taken care of on the spot, and it has to be done, and they won't take any BS and be, if you do any kind of magical workings involving higher, like philosophy, working with divinities, he'll be able to see that and catch that, so that way you know. And he also likes speaking about it and communicating about it too for some odd reason. But most definitely, he has to be aware that also his spouse figure is given the title of Lakshmi in Dhaneshta. Being from Nepal, I would believe he would know who Lakshmi is, I would hope. Please. I pray he does. Please, dude. If you don't, that's going to make me go, but still. His spouse figure has the title of Lakshmi. And with that in mind, listen to this. Whenever he does any harm to spouse figure, divinity comes around and smacks him. If he hurts the spouse figure of any kind, the lover in any way that's not within practical reason, or if it's not really reasonable, divinity comes, taps him on the shoulder, and just hits him in the face. That's what Dhaneshta is. And it's Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign that is fixed the chaotic air. It can go one way, and then just come out of nowhere and just slap you in the face. It's unpredictable. But the thing is if you're not more humanitarian, it'll really mess you up. If he takes care of you, wealth and financial standing goes up. If he neglects you, abuses, or mistreats you, down it goes. And also a good slap in the face. And also, his daughter Karka, or the planet with the lowest degree. Hello, Munchkin? I think this is their name. But yes, that Venus is being extra prominent in as his spouse figure, so his spouse is going to be exactly like this Venus in Danishta. He better not make a whoopsie. He better not choose to make a whoopsie that's going to cause your harm, because if he does, playing the world's smallest violin here, that's not good. Please don't do that. Please don't. And as well, we're going to take a look at one more thing, and I believe gotten the gist of what's speaking to me currently. Fine, whatever's stopping a headache, computer. Okay, we don't have any of that. No, none of that. That's okay. That's okay. We're kinky there. Oh, there. So, whenever he speaks about his emotions, indicates, and is actually being like communicating emotions that are like very nurturing, he's going to benefit. Whenever he has other people act on his behalf, or a group of people or a collective, or his friends act on his behalf, things go down. Right off the bat. That's his biggest downfall. If he has, in other words, put it this way. His yogi planet and yogi position, essentially that's the planet when it's at the specific degree. This planet, which is Mercury, whenever he communicates, that's Mercury, with his nurturing emotions, that's Cancer. When he communicates and expresses that, he benefits from it, because yogi always benefits when somebody takes in these qualities and puts them into practice. Now, the avayogi is the polar opposite. Whenever somebody does what the avayogi is positioned in, it only brings up obstacles and it brings in a bunch of BS. So now, avayogi being Mars. Whenever he takes physical action involving other people and involving the collective to take action and putting his energy into other people to do what he needs done, that's going to be a downfall for him. And funny enough, didn't you say that, he uses other people to communicate with you? Because if that's the case, that's a downfall. No, if he commands people or tells people to do something on his behalf for him that he can do himself, that's going to be a downfall. If he chooses to do it, if he chooses to ask somebody for help to accomplish something, that's different. If he has other people take action on his behalf, even though he can do it himself, downfall. That's going to cripple him every time. And that Mars, again, he has a lot of potential gains to gain from taking action, but he has to do it in the proper way. But now, put it this way. He has a lot of heavy karmic expectations to fill. And he does not want to do it. He does not want to do it. But the thing is, Oh, You don't need to apologize. In fact, I kind of whenever I'm talking, I like to kind of acknowledge people when they come in and they say something. I'm not one of those people that's just like, oh, someone said a text message or like someone messaged. I'm not gonna stop and give the time. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a good thing too to also share like your current standing and the whatnot, but still, it's still really good to always observe and learn, because there's always something to learn, even if it's something as simple as like, okay, like about a certain divine. Yep, that's always good. Wow, you kids, you're making me feel old. I'm 28. Whatever. Back in my day, when I was a kid like you guys, I didn't have internet. No, there was, but it wasn't that good. Crazy kids. No, I'm just messing. But he most definitely. that shows a lot of potential to learn. Then, if you have a soul age 16, that means you have a lot of potential to climb in the life. But specifically with this seventh house of his being Scorpio, well, he has a lot of karmic payback that he has to do. Has to. He's not going to like it, but then again, that's not the point. So, he's probably going to have to grit his teeth and just go with it and deal with it. Because if he doesn't, well, I'm pretty sure you both understand and know who Shani is, right? I hope, please. I pray, please. If you guys don't know who Shani is, I'm gonna literally cry on camera. I hope you do, please. I hope you know who Shani is, please. I don't want to be crying on camera because that would make me cry. And don't say, well, I don't know him, and just saying that so that way I do cry and be like, oh no, it was a joke. Please don't. Because where's that bloody thing of mine? Oh, right underneath my arm. Yes. And for cutesies, Shani, as you know how he is, he cares so much about you that he's willing to slap you and tell you how stupid you are. Really, that's how he is. He cares about you so much that he'll break you in two and tell you, you're stupid! And also, by the way, in Vedic and Western astrology, both of them, he's my ruler. Funny enough. And he's also my strongest planet. Standing at 170% strength in Shadbala. 170%. The next one is Moon at 125 strength. Shani, 170. Yeah. Yep, I love the guy. In fact, there's my blue sapphire ring. There's one of them. And there is another one. And here's a real sapphire. But yes. Well, I like to put it this way. For me, whenever someone wrongs me, at least, every time Shani comes around and just goes, hey! To him. It always happens. Every time. If I do something wrong, I don't get hit as bad. But if somebody else does wrong towards me, oh, ow. That's all I gotta say. And I don't know why I just had a thought and I just lost it, but And so that way you both know. Other than... right. This computer is throwing a big hissy fit and I don't like it. I mean, for goodness sake, look at this. Hold on. If this thing will be so kind, you know. Come on, are we downloading? Thank you. So, I mean, for goodness sakes, you can even see it. You can even see this. It's like, oh, wow, okay. Yep, he most definitely has quite the weird, you know, like the weird fandom to have. Oh, he has a fandom for Saturn? What, is he a masochist or something? Does he enjoy getting beaten to death? Does he enjoy, you know, getting backhanded for being stupid? Wow. Dang. I wonder why that is. Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people don't understand that Shani, ironically enough, is the planet, or Graha, that's what I prefer to even call planets. He's the Graha that cares the most. He cares about you so much that he wants you to be at your best all the time. And he knows you can do it. Because if he knew you couldn't do it, he wouldn't be hitting you upside the head repeatedly to make it right all the time. So he knows your potential. I mean, another thing to even look at it in this too. If you take a look, well, if the glare goes up, you happen to see, or perfect right there. You happen to see right here, the sun behind his head. There. Yep, and sometimes the best way to, you know, help someone, as I like to say it, the best way to help an idiot is to first tell the idiot to stop being an idiot, so therefore he'll be like, so that way he'll stop being an idiot. Well, I wouldn't say that, but by like a cultural thing, possibly, but I mean, not every mother, you know, teaches like that, but the sun behind Shani's head is actually a symbol for enlightenment. But specifically, it takes a special kind of love and care to go to somebody and say, "Why are you being stupid? Stop being stupid. No, stop." And instead of somebody just being like, no, please don't do that. No, it's okay. Just go with it. No, because if someone did care, they would tell you how stupid something is and tell you to quit doing it and then just whack you one. If he didn't care, he would not really be so fixated on it. It's true. That's why there are some schools of thought that do push. Actually, here's one. Here's one that probably amaze you both. If, like, just like with Shani. You both know about Saturn return and Satsati. You both are not going to believe this one. Because I just want to make sure you both know what that is before I say at least what I have to say about them, in my regards at least. You know, you both know about Satsati and Saturn return, right? Okay, well, Satsati is the 7.5 year okay, good. That one, the other one knows. So, yes, Satsati is this 3 stages of Saturn transiting from the house before the moon, in the same house of the moon, and the sign house after the moon. Saturn return is when Saturn returns to the spot of somebody's birth. Now, keep that in mind. I have Saturn in the ascendant of Aquarius on the western side, Vedic and Capricorn. Now listen to this. I also have my moon point blank conjunct my ascendant. Point blank, exact on the ascendant. Right now, I'm experiencing my Saturn return and the peak of Sasati, both at once. But here's another thing. My moon and ascendant are a mere 3 degrees away from my Saturn. 3 degrees. That's pretty dangerously close. And also my Saturn's retrograde, just for extra gigglies. Exactly when Saturn stepped on my ascendant and my moon, and almost pretty close to my Saturn placement, that exact day when it happens, which was February 26th. Immediately right on that day, my biggest wish got granted. I'm not even kidding. The one desire I have, there it was. Just like that. And funny enough, I was just all, knew it. Exactly what I was expecting to happen. I'm dead serious. And by the way, that was actually getting vows reinstated between myself and my partner. Vows were reinstated. Wish granted. So, to those that say Sasati's Saturn return is going to be a time of extreme suffering and nothing is going to go right, well, I did go through a lot of hardship, yes, of course. But when the peak and the most, oh Lord, Lanta, the harshest of it all, oh look at that, one of my biggest wish granted. I guess this wasn't supposed to happen, but it did, so. Stereotype broken. But I mean, that's none of my business. Because that does go to show you that you can't. But even then, too, I do have to also consider. I didn't have. Actually, I think I might have. No, that's 26. Yeah. I didn't have this blue sapphire then when it happened. But I had these, like, real, not lab grown blue sapphires rings made of silver, like the silver banding, and not lab grown sapphire. I've had these on since the end of 2019. I've had these rings on since then. Never taken them off, except to clean them. Yeah, so definitely probably had something to do with it. But also having probably 11 years of, sticking with the person, and even having a lot of these happen. Why are you doing that? You're giving me a headache. Please don't do that. Up and when did it? Good Lord, Lanta, why? A lot of that. Well, no, I was just pretty much explaining like a lot of hardship and a lot of headaches having to go, but I stuck with it. And well, there's your wand, kid. Good enough for me. Oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock. I need to get to sleep. Well, anyway, thank you for tuning in a little bit later than expected. Usually I go live at 9 p.m. Arizona Central Time in the US, so I'll probably just come back live tomorrow. I go live like every night around 9 or just usually every day. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hope I helped.